Good evening, Stampers. This is Sandy Harco with Stamp and Go here on July the 8th. Tonight we are going to be stamping with Prairie Grass, which is one of those new online exclusives that have just become available in July. Now, if you would like to get a card kit to make two of each of these cards that we're making tonight, you just need to place an order for $35 with me through Stampin' Up, and that link is below in the description section. If you'd like an extra set of embellishments, which is a full pack of embellishments, you can place your order for $50 and you will get both the kit and the embellishments. We do meet here every second Tuesday of the month at 7 o'clock, so please put that on your calendar, and you can join us next time also at the same time in August. So let's get started. All right, this is the stamp set that we are going to be using tonight. You can see it has some interesting verses, some that you don't normally see in one of your sets, and then these are the three major images that we'll be using tonight. All right, let us begin. So this is the first card that we're going to be making tonight. And you can see that this is the stamp back here that we are using and one of the cool verses that we're going to be using. So let's start with the stamping. This is our card. This is our designer paper. This is from the Country Wood set. We're going to be using Night of Navy. All this information will be in the PDF that you'll get along with your card kit. You'll get a PDF that has the photos, you'll have the measurements, and the supply list that we're using. Okay, this is the first image that we're going to use. So let's ink that up with Night of Navy. This is a big one, so I'm going to just check and make sure we've got that inked up really well. And then we're going to bring that down. We're not going to get that very top part in there because this piece of the designer paper is not that long. So we're going to make sure that we get part of that bottom, and then we'll just let it go off the edge where it goes off the edge. Okay. I am going to clean this because we're going to be using this set or this stamp in our last card, and I don't want that navy to be on there. We're going to be using a lighter color. All right, let's leave the navy open, set this over to the side, bring in the piece that we're going to be using for the greeting. And this greeting says, sometimes life is just hard. And won't that be an appropriate statement for a lot of situations? So we're going to ink that up with the navy. We're going to come to about halfway because we're going to add some things to this. So I'm going to pop this about right here, rock it slightly to get the top and the bottom of all of those letters. All right, we're going to close up the navy because we do not need that any longer. And let's continue with this. Let's bring in the ribbon. This is that new Secret C. It's one of the new in colors that we have this year. And it is not black. Sometimes people think it is black, but it is not black. Let me make sure I'm putting this. Yes, I'm going to put it up here. This is tear and tape, and we're going to attach the ribbon to the back here with the tear and tape. If you don't have tear and tape, you can use glue dots. Okay, I'm going to take the topper off of the tear and tape. Now we can turn this to the right side, and we're going to just position this ribbon so that it comes underneath that greeting, and then we'll just tuck that to the back side. Pull it as tight as you can, not real tight, and then tuck that to the back. Okay, there we go. Now you'll have two pieces of linen thread per card, and we're going to snake that right under. There we go, right under that ribbon. And we're going to tie it in a knot. Now, if you're really hesitant about tying bows, you can just tie a double knot here and let it be. But I'm going to attempt to put a little bow there. Sometimes I have a little trouble, but I think today it might be working. There we go. I did not get both of those. So let's untie that. Try that again. Using a double, I agree, is a little bit tricky sometimes, but we're going to give it our best shot here. There, we need to tuck both of those pieces under there. There we go. Work this time. Nice. Okay, now, like I said, if you are bow challenged and you don't want to tie that in a bow, you can just tie it in a double knot and it will still look very nice. I'm going to trim this up a little bit. All right, let's get rid of that, and I think we are good to go. Now let's put our rhinestones up here at the top. These are the medium size. You'll get these in your card kit. So we're going to put one in the middle and then come out about a quarter of an inch and put one on each side. Okay, flip that to the back side. Grab your dimensionals, and we're going to pop 4 on there, 2 on each end. And then this piece is ready to go. Let's just lay that up at the top out of our way for the moment. We're going to grab our card base, which again is in the secret C, opens down here at the bottom. We are going to nab the layer that goes on top, and it's been embossed with that new pressed flower embossing folder. And I think you're going to find that folder to be very, very useful. It works in a lot of background situations. It's very pretty. Pop some glue on there, and we're going to layer that on top of your card base. Nab the piece of designer paper that we have stamped already. Pop a little glue on there, and we're going to center that pretty much from top to bottom and side to side. Okay, now all we have to do is take off the toppers of our dimensionals here. So we already have this one already prepared. And then we're going to come up about a ½ inch from the bottom and then center that side to side over your designer paper. And your card is ready for sending. Now, if you like the cards tonight, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And don't forget that you need to place your order by July the 14th. You have 1 week from tonight to place that order to get your free card kit. All right, let us move to the second card. Your second card looks like this, and we're using a different stamp this time. So let's do our stamping. I'm going to bring in the piece of vanilla. And this is the image that we're using tonight. Instead of an ink pad, we're going to be using markers. So these are your Stampin'Write markers. And this is crushed curry. We're going to use the end that has the brush, and that's the thick line there on the side. And we're going to use it, you're going to use your markers on the side, not the tip. So we're going to mark the image. So we're using curry up there. And now we're going to use old olive for the stems and the leaves. Now, a word of interest here. Sometimes the first inking of your stamp is not quite as bright as you would like it. So we're going to try it once. If it doesn't come up to our expectations, we are going to turn it over and ink it again and stamp the other side of this. So we're going to stamp here, rock it slightly. Actually, that turned out pretty good, but look down here, I missed that. So we are going to flip that to the other side. We're going to ink up again, and usually if your stamp hasn't been used for a while, they tend to get a little bit dry. And so re-inking this again is going to probably provide us a little brighter image. So let's make sure I ink down here, which is what looks like I missed the last time. Either that or I didn't press well all over the stamp. So we're going to make sure this time that we stamp it well. All right, now let's try this again. We flip that over and we're going to center that, rock it, and press at the bottom. Yeah, that looks much better. And we did get a little brighter image. So just keep that in mind when you're using markers on your stamps. Be sure to either do it twice or maybe prime it and stamp it on like scrap paper or something the first time. All right, so let's add our holographic resin dots, and those are going to be over here on this side. I'm going to put one there, drop down about 1/4 of an inch, place another one, and drop down another 1/4 of an inch and press in number 3. Now, for the time being, I think we're going to set that over to the side. We're going to grab the label. Excuse me. We're going to grab the label for our verse, and we're using the same verse that we used for the first one. We're just going to use some black ink, which I have apparently misplaced. Where did I set my black ink? Let me grab it. There's one thing I always have around here, and that's black ink. All right, so let's rock that slightly on our ink pad and then stamp on our label. There we go. Very good. All right, let's get rid of this because we don't need this any longer. Now, that is all of our stamping. So we're going to bring in the card base, which is Old Olive. Might want to give that a little scrape to make it lay down flat. And the embossed image is Birch. So this is a nice rustic kind of background to be using for this outdoor kind of card. All right, we're going to put a little glue back there. Layer that on the front of your card base and press all the way around. You'll have just a slight bit of your card base showing around the edge of that. Now, this is one of the new designer papers also out this month called Need for Tweed. And this is the green one. So we're going to come up about an inch and center that side to side. Bring in your stamped image. Put a little glue back there over our first stamping. We're going to come over about a 1/2 inch from the left side and then center that top to bottom. Nice. Okay. Grab your image or your greeting here. We're going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back side. If you put them in a little bit from the side, you can get away with just 2. And then this is going to come up about a 1/2 inch and over about 1/8 of an inch. So about right there. Nice. Now, the last thing that we have to put on will be our dragonflies. Get that out of the plastic so we can get to those dragonflies. We're going to put one that I just flipped someplace. I wonder, oh, here we go. That one actually flew away. So let's see if we can capture that dragonfly. Bring it back to where we want it, which is right here. See if we can keep that one from flying away. This one is going to fly over towards the right side. And then this one is going to come right here. And we're kind of a little bit off the side here. There you go. Just like that. All right. Your card is now ready for sending. I hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, if you're enjoying these cards, we do have Zoom classes every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you're interested in that, check out my blog, Sandy Loves Stamping, and it's under the events button. And if you sign up for my mailing list, which the link is below that you can sign up for that, you'll get pictures of all the cards that we are creating in our classes. And the emails that you get showing those has the button to sign up for those classes. Okay, very good. All righty, this is our last card. And again, we're going to use that major image that we used first for our background and then a separate image for our focal point. So let's do the focal point first. So we're going to bring in the little white label that has been die cut with the postage image. We're using Pretty in Pink for our inking for this. So we're going to use, this is the small grass image. We're going to ink that up and make sure that we're coming down from the top so we get the top image this time. And then just let that bottom fall where it does. Okay. We're gonna, oh, I just found my black ink. There we go. So we're using the Sending the Healing Power of Love as our greeting. And again, you can substitute any greeting that you like in here. We're going to come up about 1/4 of an inch and then stamp our greeting right over the grass there. Nice. We're going to flip this to the back side, put on our dimensionals. Nice. Take off those dimensionals, tops, get rid of those toppers. Bring in your gold backing and just make sure that you center that on the gold piece. All right, now let's lay that over to the side, get rid of our black ink so I don't make a mistake here. Bring in the designer paper. This is the designer paper that we're using. It's called Unbounded Beauty. We're going to ink up our image. Now, sometimes it's easier to pick it up when you have a big image like this and ink it up on the block like this rather than trying to hit that ink pad. So either way works fine. You can use either way that you like. I see I got some ink over here on the block. Gonna get that off so I don't accidentally tilt that on my image here. And we're going to center this from the side. So I say center, but we're centering it top to bottom and we're coming real close to the side over here and then press down. Okay, just like that. So now you'll see that's a really nice, subtle background. We're going to bring in our focal point here and we're going to pop a little glue on there. We're going to come up from the bottom about 1/4, I guess that's about a 1/2 inch, and over from the side about a 1/2 inch. And we're just going to hold that in place for a second till it gets, probably should have used glue dots so I didn't have to wait. We'll just set that over to the side. Bring in our card base, which opens on the right-hand side. We're going to put on a layer of white. And we're going to center that right on our card base. You will see about 1/8 of an inch of your pink base showing all the way around. Now let's see. Yeah, that's pretty, it's getting a grip there. I'm going to turn that to the back side, add a little bit of glue, flip that over, and center that on your white border there. So you have a tiny white border, which just really makes this top pop. Nice. All righty. Now the last thing that we have to do is put on our bling. Let's get rid of the ink so I don't have an accident here. We're going to put one tiny butterfly down here on the grass. And we're going to use 3 small rhinestones along this upper left corner, leaving about 1/8 of an inch between them. Nice. Now we've got one more bling. This card is really blinged up, isn't it? Don't you love it? All right, we have 2 birds, one that flies to the right, the other one flies to the left. So we're going to take one that flies to the right. We're going to pop that right here, kind of between these 2 pieces of grass. Then we're going to get the one that flies to the left and bring that down here a little bit, right in the space right here. And then your card is ready for sending. I hope you have enjoyed this evening as much as I have. This Prairie Grass set is a beautiful set. So I hope that you will put your order in so you get your free card kit. You need to do that by 7/14, which is a week away. And then please come back and join us the second Tuesday of August, which will be August the 12th. And we'll see you then. Take care.